I stood where standing felt like weight. The air insisted something urgent, someone pulling at the fabric. I reached for what was never there, a door that asked me how I came. The asking itself was the problem, not the answer I didn't have, not the way I arrived empty-handed, but the demand that I explain myself to threshold, to the space between. Resistance is a body refusing to be moved on someone else's timeline. Urgency belongs to them. I am learning the architecture of staying put. Entitlement sounds like a knocking dream, like the assumptionary question that isn't really. The door had no handle, it still expected me to open it. I reached for what was never there. Reach for was never there, a door that asked me how I came. The comfort arising, the not doing, the refusal to perform excess, and standing at the threshold and choosing not to cross. The calculation of every breath, counting steps like currency, feet that move but never land, a rhythm measured in advance, shoes on stone, 1,000 names. Nobody stops to feel the frame. Rushing past the pauses where something might begin. The body moves efficient, but where does body end? Inhale for 3, exhale for 2. Optimize the simple motion without destination, speed without arrival. We forgot to notice, forgot the stopping place. Between one step and another, there was space. There was space. The architecture tells us flow is wild once. Water that would pool and rest. Not this channel, this cement. Measuring our back, but monetizing bone. How many miles of living before we get back? Shoes on stone, 1,000 names. Nobody stops to feel the fray. A calculation of every breath, as if breathing needed strategy, as if lungs required instruction. As if we forgot we knew. Before the counting, there was just the in, the out, the be. Still, the world says faster. The body whispers, wait, wait. You were standing by the window. I was lying on the floor. The room was white and still. You turned your face. You turned your face. You turned your face. You turned your face. I saw the air, remember me, when I stopped asking it to move, when I stopped asking it to move, when I stopped asking it to move. You didn't say anything. The light came through the glass. I watched you watching something. The way your body knew, the way your body knew, the way your body knew. Everything that grows moves slow. 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 I was so tired of trying, and I was trying. You were there, the light was there. The light was there. The light was there. I saw the air, remember me, when I stopped asking it to move, 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 when I stopped asking it to move. Your skin in the afternoon, my everything that grows moves slow. You turned your faith, the light was there. I stopped asking. You turned your face. The floor knew my weight before I did. Something shifts when you enter, not the air, something under the air. I have been the door, I have been the threshold, I have been the space that waits. The floor knew my weight before I did. You can tell a room by how it holds you. You can tell. Walls remember, hands would remembers what. I am learning how to be open. The floor knew my weight. There is a sound before the sound. There is a moment before the moment when the house already knows. I've been the door, I've been. Something shifts, not the air, something under the floor knew my weight before I did. Return to what has always been returning, the angle of light through that particular window. You can tell a room by how it holds. I am learning how to be opened. The floor knew my weight before I did, before I did. I arranged the room for you. Left space but not too much. The angle matters more than distance. Sit beside me, not across. Let the silence do the work. There's a way to place yourself that says I'm here but not deemed silence do the work. I wanna ask you what you're thinking. Won't turn and search your face. Just the knowledge that you're near. In the chair left empty. Not a cross, not a cross beside. The room can hold us both, without questions, without answers. Just the furniture arrangement says what I can't say directly. Sit beside me, not across. Let the silence do the work. I picked this one for comfort, picked this one for you. The distance of an armrest, the closeness of the same direction. Not across, beside, beside, beside. Let the silence do the work. Hands on wood, hands on wood. Generation passing through, passing through. Every mark a conversation, every mark a conversation. No surface ever finished, no surface ever finished. Grandmother's hands here, mother's hands here, my hands here, your hands here. The grain remembers, the grain remembers. All of us, all of us. Scratches tell, rings and stains, rings and stains. Not perfect, not perfect, but used, but used, but love, but love. Hold it all, every meal, every moment, every hand that rested. Every hand that rested. The weight of plates, the weight of years, the weight of plates, the weight of years, the weight of years, the weight of touch one smooth, touch one smooth. Edges soft from holding, edges soft from holding. Pass down, carry forward, all the invisible invisible hours, all the invisible hours pressed into surface, pressed into surface. Hands on wood, hands on wood, remember it, remember it, remember I cleared the table before you asked, left the chairs exactly where they stand. This is not forgetting, this is making room. The garden grows and it's not growing, so turn waiting for the seed. I walk the edges every morning, measuring what isn't there yet. Nothing here and everything, breath waiting to decide. You think I lost something, but I set it down on purpose. The way your body learns too fast, the way silence holds more than sound. All the clutter I remove, your name, your face, your need. Not to forget, but to prepare the way winter strips the branches bare. Nothing here and everything, breath waiting to decide. This emptiness is architecture, this absence is a choice. The space between the words, where meaning lives before it's born. I am not empty, I am open. There is a difference you don't see. The blank wall where the picture hung, the cleared shelf, the unmade bed left unmade. Not from sadness but from readers, whoever needs space to laugh. A lot what wants to speak needs quiet to begin. Nothing here and everything, breath waiting to sigh, breath waiting to sigh. If no one hears me, was it still true before the asking, before the word became sound? I stood at the edge of becoming, breath before speaking, hand raised in empty air, the question forming in the throat, not yet released. Did I exist then in the space between knowing and asking? The first crack in silence, the origin point, when nothing has answered yet and everything still could. Creation confronted, the infant cried, not for answer, but to know if crying matters. West Coast morning, fog not yet burned, standing on pavement, feeling the ground before walking. Was I ill in the waiting? Before it moves, the moment before I became the person who needs to ask, who put this in me, this why, this way, this wonder, before language, before the mirror, before I knew to look for myself, just the urge to pull the first small opening. If no one hears me, was it still true? The question arriving like breath arrives, uninvited, essential. Here at the beginning of needing to know why. Stars spoke too fast, the walls grew sharp. Soft the morning listens, mouth open water. Sound becomes shape, my voice returns, softer than I sent it. Milk light through fabric, everything patient. My fumbling syllables landing like most. The room does not correct, it waits. I try again, words like spoons, clumsy, gentle. Listen to your listening, the air holds nothing against you, only gives back what you need. I spoke too fast, the walls grew sharp, now speaking slow. Corners round themselves, my errors flow, harmless as down the space between my mouth and ear, teaches without tongue. Hush the trying, just the breath, just the sound returning, meeting itself kinder. Velvet repetition, I am both the asking and the answer. Spoke too fast, walls grew sharp. Speaking soft, walls are water. Reflection pools, no breaking surface. Tender voice to voice, same, same. And the truth arrives. Quietly like morning. No announcement, just there. All the noise I made, trying to hold everything, trying to know everything. And my hands are open. What I thought was falling apart was actually begun. The breaking was the beginning. I let the questions breathe. I let the silence teach. I let myself not know, and something new for me. All that force, all that gripping, all that terror of unraveling release. What remains when you stop deciding? What serves a face when you stop steering? Not emptiness, not chaos, clarity. The kind that doesn't show, the kind that doesn't prove. I spent years building walls, calling them wisdom, calling them strength. Then I heard, really heard, the sound of trauma collapse, surrendered from. Every parts they caught the light, they became the light. I don't need to understand to be held by understanding. I stopped arranging answers, and the truth arrived. Simple as breath, certain as dawn. Learning to belong without disappear. The way water takes shape, whatever holds it. I used to think staying meant losing myself. Now I see every exchange changes both sides. My body knows things my mind forgot how to soften, still be whole. Every place asks something. Now I know how to hear what they need, what I need, sometimes the same. I thought boundaries were walls, turns out they're more like skin. Breathing, letting in, letting out. The people I love live inside my choices, not as weight, as direction. I don't have to choose between myself and the world. They grow together or not at all. Some days I forget and close up tight, and something small, a hand on my shoulder, reminds me we're all learning the same thing. How to touch without grasping, how to open without breaking. Integration not as a rival, as practice, showing up again and again, letting the world shape me while I shape it back. Both things true at once. This is how we become real. Question with legs, walking back through September, through the underpass where light bends wrong. It never closed behind me, only learned my name. Some things don't finish, they just learn to stay. Blood remembers before the brain does. The freeway hum and buzz, Santa Ana winds carrying ash, carrying the shape of your hand. Still reaching, still open mouth, open wound, open interstate. The body keeps asking, keeps turning around, expecting a click that never comes. I drive past it weekly, that stretch of Sunset Boulevard where we almost where it could have. The pavement knows holds a heat long after dark. Some doors are just frames, just the idea of leaving or entering. Can't tell The ocean doesn't close you, just coming back, coming back. Run down the same rocks, the same questions, smooth but silver. Still sharp underneath, I wear the not knowing like a jacket I can't take off, even in summer, even sleeping. It never closed behind me, only learned my name. Learned to answer when called to follow me, room to room, city to city. The ache is the only proof it was real. That threshold that almost let hand on wood, and I pushed through, never pulled shut. Hanging away, fog hangs over the coast, neither here nor there, just between, just waiting for nothing, for everything, same thing maybe. The question with legs, still walking, still finding me on random Tuesdays in the produce aisle, on the 110, in the shower, the space between sleep and awake, where everything's still mine. My head, mine. But doesn't it stays open, the mouth mid-sentence, breath have taken, perpetual edge of almost no